How goes it? I'm Ken Bosak from PureBlockchainWealth.com, where we talk about putting your wealth on the blockchain. This is the cryptocurrency's elite form, and today's guest is absolutely one of the most entertaining enthusiasts in the industry, casually educating his viewers about cryptocurrencies and the importance of mining. Jared from Digital Gold, the man on the proverbial moon. Thank you, Jared, for joining me today. How goes it?
It's amazing being up here on the moon.
So how's the weather up there?
It's great. I mean, Bitcoin's half off right now, so everybody can get on it because it's going right back up to where it was on the moon before.
Yeah, as we speak right now, everyone's waiting in anticipation for China to wake up and see what happens in the market.
Very true. It's the nonstop roller coaster ride right now, guys.
Speaking of that roller coaster ride, considering you are a miner, not in age, but as profession, what rigs are you currently running, and how do you determine which rig is right for you?
Absolutely, that's terrific. I actually started running rigs for clients as well as myself, and a lot of the clients are all building 8-card rigs. They don't want to go with a 6 or a 4. They want to get fully into it. And they are running all RX 580 8 gigabytes. So try to get top of the line aside from the Vegas because they're just a little overpriced. And there is one guy who specifically asked for an NVIDIA rig, which was very expensive, but he specifically wanted Zcash on that rig. So really, you could pick a rig for your specifics of mining, but I would say that if you're on one specific coin, you'd want to research the exact cards per price that you could get. Otherwise, I just determine it by getting the best card that's going to last me 3 to 5 years.
No, it's really hard right now getting these cards. The market seems to be pretty dry. People are trying to flip them for more than their actual value on like eBay or Amazon. So where are you purchasing your mining equipment?
Oh, absolutely. It's outrageous. We went through the worst I've ever seen last month where, I mean, it would be maybe 1 card a week that I could order. I'm able to get about 3 to 5 cards a day now, so it's getting better. So, but I'm not getting them any different than anybody else. You just got to be smart, do your research. I can't give you my secrets, but they're out there, and I don't have some inside scoop or anything. So
awesome. So when it comes to running those rigs though, like what's the average cost of like your monthly electricity compared to the value the miners provide? And is it always cost effective, or do you find it some month that you run in the negative to catch up into the profits?
I 100% believe it is always worth the cost. I believe electric is the gas in your car to get you to your job or wherever you need to go in life. You really don't think about it too much. Sorry. You really don't think about it too much. You typically have gas in your car and you see the price and it changes and you go, whatever, I got to get gas in my car. So that's the cost of electricity to get this thing going. So that cost is all over the place for all people all over the world. You're going to see different prices of the electric, and keeping the cost down preferred, but you don't want to change your whole lifestyle just to sacrifice the cost of electricity. So what do you do when you're mining in the negatives, right? I mean, there's a great saying that you're only making money when you're mining in the negatives, and that is because if you're acquiring a coin that's not popular right now, kind of one of those off ones that nobody's really mining, but you're getting 100 and 200 coins a day on this, you really don't need the price to go very high before you're going to be able to cash out in the future with exponential growth. And yes, you would need to still pay your electric bill because they'll shut your electric off, but just get by paying the bare minimum. Don't sell the coins to do it, and wait for the big cash out day.
So when it comes to mining altcoins, do you have any particular strategy that you use that some people may be able to, maybe copy paste, or, what makes a specific altcoin more appealing to you as a miner?
A specific altcoin I would say is because of the development team that's behind it. So you have to do your own research. Don't ever listen to anybody specifically telling you that you need to mine this specific coin and just go with it, because it might not be what you like, what you want to put your energy towards, and it might be a complete trick or a scam, right?
Right.
So,
everyone's telling me to mine Ripple.
Exactly. See, so it's things like that you have to be mindful of and do your own research. This is such an open world with no regulation really at all much right now, and you are smart enough as an individual to figure out what, with your own research and using your brain, which one you should be mining. But as far as my determination, I like to go for what would be like the underdogs or the guys that are just getting off the ground. I was one of the first guys on Ethereum when it took off, and it was less than $1. I was mining 5 coins a day with 2 graphics cards and raking in coins. I mean, payouts of 21 coins every few days. So it was amazing, but the price was $1. So it was like, and then it went up to $1 and then $10, and I was like, oh, I gotta cash out, right? And now look at it, you know. So you've got to go for the guys that not everybody's mining. Everybody at that time was mining like Litecoin and things like that. So I was like, I'm not mining Litecoin. Everybody's been on Litecoin for the last 2 years. So now what's everybody mining right now? Everybody's mining Ethereum, thinking that it's going to, 10 times again. But the coin that's going to 10 times is the coin somewhere else, somewhere along the blockchain.
Oh, true. That is very true. Oh, man. When it comes to these altcoins, the term, it's just another way of saying cryptocurrencies that's backed by a blockchain technology other than Bitcoin's exact protocol. Which are some altcoins you like that aren't really, based on the trading potential, but more so for their blockchain technology potential? What kind of altcoins or blockchain projects really got your attention right now?
Yes, I've been a huge fan of the actual storage coin, which actually is mined by a hard drive space. And the almost kid that developed that, sort of like Vitalik Buterin, I can never say that name, set that storage coin off and got it off the ground and really just paying the rewards to test their protocol. Alongside of that was the Factum. And we're getting into that smart contracts. It's just stuff like that. It's just terrific. So anything that is going to better humanity, I would say, is one of those coins that you need to look at. The little feather coin or cat coin or little community type coin. I mean, it's not. Yeah, you might make a quick buck, but in the long haul, that's not where the millions are going to be poured into to help development.
All right, what do you think about things like Steemit or like casino coins, stuff like that, those kind of platform projects?
Yes, the platform projects are a great attempt, and I think we're going to see what needs to come built for the platform that we're really desiring in a decentralized, socialized community. I don't think that one of those guys right now are the answer. I do think that either we may see a drastic move where Facebook or Twitter or maybe developers from both of those places come together and create the ultimate social media, right, type coin. A lot of developers, the mainstream developers in those big companies, actually hate cryptocurrency. I know quite a couple of them, and they are just anti all of it. And I don't know why, because I fully believe it's the future. But when those guys actually catch on and say, okay, we need to start developing in this realm, sort of like, I don't know if you've seen IBM has with their commercials in the cloud. And
yeah, the blockchain Super Bowl commercial, heard around the world.
See, right there, track a tomato all the way to your table. So using the blockchain. I mean, it's stuff like that a combination of bigger companies getting together, creating the social media is where I think it's going to come. They'll end up buying companies like Steemit or OpenBazaar or something like that, or the technology they have. Social media is such a powerful platform that I really would struggle to see someone try to reinvent that on the blockchain.
Yeah, and when it comes to those altcoins, I like that you brought up storage, because a lot of people like to say that of blockchain, and it really is sort of like the Dropbox of blockchain, or the Airbnb of crypto. You get to rent out space and stuff, and it kind of gives people something that you can measure. Here's how much a terabyte of space costs on a Google Drive cloud or a Dropbox cloud, but what's the security risk on top of that cost, and does it outweigh the benefits of something so, you know, decentralized like storage? It's really interesting to see these projects coming up, not because people want to, you know, like you said, you may not make a bunch of money, you know, investing in these, but if they do become the project at the end of the day that they want to be, we'll all be the better off for supporting them and helping them get there. You know, not just as an end user, but as an investor, right?
Absolutely. And the excitement that the guys, when you research and you see the developers and they get on either YouTube or a forum and talk to you as a user, just the excitement that they have about what they've created, those are the guys you want to go with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Not like, you know, the founders and CEOs that hire marketers, and the founders and CEOs and everybody can never be found talking about their project because they don't have any easy answers. Exactly. Yeah, it's definitely something to watch out for. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about smart contracts, because, like, where do you see smart contracts being adopted in a cost-effective use case? Because you got to consider the extreme cost to create the contract and the risks associated with actually implementing them. Is it worth it? And where could we see this breaking even in a mainstream use case?
I don't think I love smart contracts. However, I don't think we're going to see smart contracts really take off personally until we see a locked-in price fee for the contract to be built on the blockchain. This up and down thing going with you know, difficulty level affecting the price for the miners to send the coins, and all this purchasing, the prices going up and down on a specific coin to do a smart contract really complicates things, and guys may be hesitant to develop on a smart contract because they're like, well, you know, I'm just going to wait till the price is cheaper, so I'll develop it, but I'm not going to put it out there because of my cost to do so, and I'm hoping that it gets figured out later. So we need to see some kind of specific coin that stays at a certain price and is kind of the platform for the contracts to live on and off of. That's where I think we'll see more stability in the smart contracts. However, where do I see them going? Our biggest move is going to be the government, actually. Sad to say, sadly. But the government is going to benefit the most in the smart contract world to somehow say that they're going to better society. But that's who's going to be the biggest buyer in the smart contracts.
Could you elaborate? Do you see them using smart contracts, you know, in a positive light, or is it more like you think of it as a fake out and it being used against us?
I'm a huge conspiracy theorist. I don't know if you want to go down that road. However, yes, I'll go with both.
Yeah, I just like to think of smart contracts being used in taxes. So, you know, if I pay taxes, depending on the percentage of my, you know, overall, you know, power that I donated in or given into the, because it will be totally voluntary at this point, I will have a voting power of where that is allocated, whether it be potholes or the bridge maintenance or schools. I'll be able to say, I want my taxes to go here, and I can vote. And through a smart contract, things will happen. And, you know, maybe we'll have like 100% less government employees because they'll all be smart contracts.
Correct. Absolutely. The development of the smart contracts, and I can't even imagine some of the, and I don't think anybody even thinks of what the next generation will bring growing up in a cryptocurrency world. You got to think about that. We grew up in the internet when it was just coming about, and now look what's being developed. What will happen to the generation that it grows up in cryptocurrency 100%? The ideas that they create by combining things together. But as far as the government goes, those will be the government people that will use, probably like you say, things for good to allocate specific funds, but also to kind of track specific things that maybe you don't want tracked, or quote betterment for the humanity as a whole, but really it's just their few people agendas to create the utopia world that they think they can.
I see what you're saying. I would hate to use Bitcoin to help donate to WikiLeaks and then find myself in an American prison for helping fund WikiLeaks because they use chain analysis on the blockchain. I could see it. You're not wrong. You're not a conspiracy theorist, you know. We're just we're aware of the potential that the government has. That's all. You know, and another thing is, you know, we have Singularity Net coming and it's being worked on. It's getting a lot of traction, a lot of attention. The funding is there. Where do you see AI and Singularity Net in the next year?
It is absolutely the creepiest thing I can ever imagine. I imagine the worst creepy scenario, and it is just flowing through my brains right now, because that AI stuff mixed with a autonomous blockchain, basically, where just the miners are running it and the AI is controlling the rest of it. We really wouldn't be able to control the power of it at that point. There is rumor that AI created Bitcoin. I don't know if you've heard that one.
Actually, that's one of my favorite ones.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, it is.
That's awesome.
I like to think of all the different possibilities, and it would be one way for AI to make sure it was as decentralized as, you know, quote unquote humanly possible, and that would do it. It would be the world's supercomputer.
So if we have that, it may be already in existence. One of the biggest ASIC developers right now has a monopoly, Bitmain, and they have their ant pool and things, and they also are heavily invested into the AI development. So there is something going on behind the curtain that we can't even imagine that they are creating with an AI computer, or it's already in place to control all kinds of cryptocurrencies and maybe even moving the markets that we don't even understand.
Ooh,
maybe they're weeding out the real hodlers from the non-real hodlers.
Maybe that's why.
The real?
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's why we're having these crazy, you know, market situations right now, especially with Binance and that trading bot fiasco.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Could be. I like the rabbit hole, but let's get our heads out of the ground here. You know, more and more traditional platforms are migrating towards the future with social media, like we were talking about, Steemit, and we even have the adult content industry moving onto the blockchain with SpankChain, and even OpenBazaar has made it possible for us to have a decentralized marketplace where we can trade goods and services for cryptocurrencies. What advantages or disadvantages do these new era platforms have when compared to their predecessors?
That I'm struggling with that one. What would be the predecessors?
Something like on the internet, centralized, oversights, vulnerable of security, Facebook or Equifax, things to the effect of even like the like I said, SpankChain with the adult sites where, you know, the cam girls lose 30%, or even on YouTube the content creators lose 30%. With the things on the blockchain where we have these decentralized platforms like Steemit, or let me think of another one here. I like even the decentralized exchanges. They have their pros and cons. I mean, when I ask the question, usually what comes to my mind is centralized versus decentralized, and the risks associated with the benefits associated with being centralized.
Okay, I would say that the answer to that would be the advantage would be the ease of use, the less amount of employees needed to run an operation, because this will be off of the blockchain, and the transparency. However, the decentralization of this only creates security, but also creates more vulnerability on your personal information. So as much as we try to hide or use specific coins for privacy's sake, I think that we're going to see a more bot type or something on the blockchain that's going to do more analysis and scanning of you as an individual to tailor specific ads or companies that need to be they think in your life. So the advantage is, yes, you're going to have an open, easier to use, less thinking about, less stress in your life. platforms with these, especially with Open Bazaar. However, you're also going to see the reverse side where they're going to be sending you things, or you're going to buy things, and a month later you're going to go, why did I even buy this? I didn't even think of this. So, but that's going to be the smarts of these platforms. So,
hey, as long as they can suggest me a better suggestion queue than what Netflix has provided me. I mean, has anybody even used Recommend It ever?
No.
The AI sucks. I mean, if they're going to advertise things to me on Facebook's sidebar, at least have it be something I really want or actually could use. You're right. You're right.
But they've got to get to the point where they send you or you purchase things that you don't even know that you wanted, and then they got you. That will be true AI marketing.
That's scary. That is so creepy. You know what? There's another form of marketing right now that's kind of having a threat. Forking is the new ICO, as far as buzzwords go and hot topics in crypto land. You know, because could these forks cause an effect that the power of ICOs have, with the SEC breathing down the necks of ICOs? Forks kind of look like that gray area's alternative coin creation and distribution option. How is this any different from an airdrop?
Oh man, I can't even tell you. It's so annoying. Every day I get an ICO email because of YouTube and the business I'm in with being a miner. They want me to advertise for the ICO. And I have cut every single ICO out. And not that there's not good ones out there, but it is so bad how much fraud is in ICOs. It's not worth me even getting involved, because the thought of telling somebody to invest into a specific ICO and then they end up running away with all the money because there is no regulation. I mean, and then and then you get into this forking thing, right? So like, where does it end? We're going to have forks upon forks upon forks. And you're like, I don't even remember what the original coin was, right? I mean, like, what is Dash? I mean, what wasn't Dash like dark coin back in the day, right? So like, nobody's going to remember that. Like, I got Dash. No, you really don't though. It's kind of just an alteration. So it's just, it's frustrating to me. And I do wish somebody would create a program. I don't want the government to regulate anything. Okay, I wish a program could come out there and tell you which are legitimate ICOs and which aren't, because it's every day they're coming up, every day they're being released, every day you could put $100 into each one, and the chances of you is like almost worse than the lottery striking gold on some of these. It is though. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, so ICOs definitely need to go. There's way too much risk involved. The reward scale is obviously uneven. I don't know if AI would even be able to keep track of a good ICO or not. I don't know. I personally, I'm with you. I don't want the government to regulate it. That's like putting do not eat labels on rat poison bottles. It doesn't make much sense. We know how dangerous it is, and if you don't know how dangerous it is, you should probably learn hands-on. You'll be stronger, smarter, faster that way. But yeah, I hopefully, I don't know, man, it's scary. I would like to see people understand the difference between forks, ICOs, and airdrops before they even decide to invest money into a project. Most of the time, they don't even know, what they're investing in. I've been to a couple conferences, and people will say, "How do I invest in your ICO?" And they're at the Decred booth.
Oh,
yeah, it's bad. So, it's as if everyone believes about 99% of all altcoins will fail, die, or exit scam before Bitcoin even makes it mainstream. Do you see a long-term use for altcoins even past Bitcoin's mainstream adoption?
Absolutely. I believe that Bitcoin, hence my name, digital gold, is the gold standard. It will be very, very difficult to acquire. It will be very expensive to acquire, and there will be almost a wall around Bitcoin as its specific coin. So all the rest of mainstream society that gets involved in anything crypto will be because of the name of Bitcoin, but then invest actually into the altcoin world. Now, do I believe that 99% of them will fail? No. I believe that there are plenty of coins that you've seen drop off, not had any help, and then come back up. A good example would be Plutons. So Plutons, I invested heavily into Plutons. I was really excited for it to come out. It was like a token to be able to pay off of your phone with the cryptocurrency network. And they just stopped. They just completely were quiet. So I was like, well, forget this. So I pulled all my Plutons, got out. And this morning, of course, I wake up and there's finally an email from the developers about the Pluton tokens actually taking off again. So when things like that happen, even another good one would be like Listcoin. You see a big drop, or Redcoin, a social media coin back in the day from like 2014.
That's from Reddit, right?
Redcoin?
Yeah, weren't they using that in Reddit or something for like points or something?
Yes. Yeah. So it's things like when you see a coin take off, and maybe the developer's doing this part-time, and it's really exciting, and everybody invests, and they all cash out because they don't think it's going anywhere, and the developer gets distracted, and then somebody actually comes along and invests in him or his project, and then you see it come back again. That's probably the secure time to put your money towards it. That's when I would say the coin will last the long haul. A lot of these coins that you're seeing right now are just tests. They're just tests for the actual true altcoin market. And there may be another cooler name for altcoins that the mainstream will then adopt and be a part of their normal society. This altcoins that we have now are just deviations of the specific Bitcoin blockchain that everybody wishes that they could buy as many Bitcoins as they can, but they didn't when they had the chance. So now they're like, I'll just get into the altcoin world. So Bitcoin will be, I believe Bitcoin's already mainstream. A lot of people that I mean, my grandmother knows, but I guess that's kind of biased. So,
well, Ellen DeGeneres did talk about it, so I mean, she's got the audience.
Yeah, so it's things like that. The interest will be spiked, but it will take another probably 10 years before I guess we could agree that this would be the mainstream. It did take the internet almost 20 years to be mainstream. So
absolutely,
no, I don't believe they would be 99% would drop off, and I do believe that there are hundreds of altcoins that you could invest in that you will make very good money in the next 15 to 20 years.
Yeah, that's what I try to tell my friends that are investors that are getting into crypto. They say, oh, but this coin's already up from a tenth of a penny. It's at $3. It's, it's been up for 2 years. Like, well, that's a trend. It's not up. It's trending. It's moving up. It's not it's not spiked. You're not late. If anything, like you said, we're all actually a little too early to a party that quite hasn't even gotten the punch yet. So we're stretching and touching our toes, getting ready to dance, and the lights and the music haven't even been set up yet.
That is perfectly said. Absolutely.
It's a good time, in my opinion, to get some fiat into this space, considering that we're at such an advantage point that we're still way too early. Any money I ever put into this space has been a 5-year investment, because that's probably the soonest we'll see one of these projects actually take off. Absolutely.
That's very wise to tell anyone, because these people need to understand this is not a get rich quick. This is a long term. There's a lot of behind the scenes work. There's a lot of miners that have to be involved in some capacity to really make that specific coin take off in the future.
Yeah, miners ain't going nowhere. I wanted to see maybe what you thought about the whole proof of work, because the cost of mining, it keeps increasing. The cost to even create one Bitcoin, it's up to, $8,000 to $7,000 in, Canada, $9,000 in China. There's a high cost to the creation of a Bitcoin. Could you see Bitcoin mining becoming so power hungry it can't be fed?
No, I don't. There's a high cost in making cars, and Henry Ford figured out a way to do that too. So, right? I mean, he is incredible. So if you ever go see his house, you guys should go see his house, by the way. It's amazing. So just the whole concept of Bitcoin being expensive right now is just another thing that almost the media wants to use against the new young bucks trying to get into it because it's killing the environment, it's too expensive, and blah, blah. Well, look around you. What else is killing the environment? Do you drive a car? Do you live in a home? Like, the simple things of life, the clothes on your back, are all killing the environment.
You know what the problem is?
Go.
The carbon footprint of cryptocurrency is too easily measured. You couldn't measure the carbon footprint behind the creation and traction and security of $1 bill. You can't do it. So you can't really compare the transaction of $1 in Bitcoin to one created dollar bill, because you just can't figure out how much it costs to create that dollar bill, to secure that dollar bill, to, you know, keep it moving and all of that. And it's so crazy that's the comparison. And I do see exactly what you're saying. It's as if you're comparing it to the automobile. The cost of it doesn't outweigh the benefits.
Right. And the other side of what I was saying before is Bitcoin, I believe you will still be early investing on, absolutely, but the ability to get Bitcoin will become very difficult. I am waiting for the day, and I believe it'll be in the next 5 years, where you won't be able to buy it. You won't be able to go to Coinbase or any Gemini, anybody, and try to get coin. They won't accept credit cards. They won't accept bank. That you will have to use cash on the street and go find yourself a miner or something in order to get it. It'll be locked down for some time, not forever, but it will be locked down for some time because they're going to try to find a way to regulate this and stop it, and until they can control it the way they want. And they're going to use things like the cost, like you're explaining, to do that, and make you feel guilty for being involved in such a horrendous thing in life, when it's actually one of the greatest inventions known to mankind is the blockchain technology. So I'm sad for the time when people first hear about it and they can't get it, but the cost of creating a Bitcoin, there's a cost to everything, and it's just the price you're going to have to pay you got to pay to play.
So what kind of price are we going to have to pay for this to beat Visa? Because from a miner's perspective, what would it take, or what do you believe it would take to make Bitcoin powerful enough to handle being the worldwide currency used by 8 billion people? Is it even possible to beat Visa?
I don't believe Bitcoin will be that, because there are too many distracted developers on other alternate currencies. And I wouldn't have said that last year, and it pains me to say it, but especially with August 1st and the Bitcoin fork, it's not what I imagined Bitcoin road to take, but I mean, who am I? And so I would say that there will be a different currency that will be the mainstream dollar or world currency. The Bitcoin will just have to be forever the gold solid backing of the whole reason that any of this exists is because of it. So therefore the price is outrageous, and anybody who has it is just got in early. But it is not being developed enough in a platform, and it's the momentum of Bitcoin development is slowing down. And unless Satoshi himself comes out and starts rewriting code for it, we're not going to see it be able to process what Visa can do. It's remarkable what the numbers they can crunch in seconds.
Yeah, no, it is. And the security behind it and everything, it is very, very impressive. The more I guess it's fair to say we were Bitcoin maximalists until we learned that Bitcoin needs its altcoin buddies. Altcoins 100% serve a purpose, because if Bitcoin had to do everything, it would be too stressed out. You know, it'd be a single parent, teacher, employee for every job. It can't do all that. So I guess I've learned over time to not be such a Bitcoin maximalist and find, you know, the altcoins, like you say, with due diligence that I personally believe in, and try not to have that whole, you know, Bitcoin is the only coin and there are no others, when there's specifically tasks Bitcoin can't handle, and altcoins obviously have a use case and will for a long term. And which brings me to this question now: if you had to pick 10 coins or so, if you can name as many. There's so many. If you had to pick 10 coins to invest 100K in evenly for 10 years, which coins would you invest in and why?
Terrific question. I don't suggest anybody invest in any of these until they do their own research. However, I do believe in some of the long ones, altcoins, you know, the standards, your Litecoin, your Bitcoin Cash, actually, because it has a strong backing of the original Bitcoin. And your Ethereum is a 50-50 right now, personally. I've gone back and forth on that. So I would still probably invest, but be mindful that could just disappear and the next Ethereum could take over. There are some terrific ones. I believe that Siacoin, actually, I'm heavily invested in that because anytime, from a miner's perspective, an ASIC is created for a specific altcoin, there's something that we don't know about, or somebody is doing something that knows is ready. And if anybody is in the mining world out there, you know that the Sia ASIC miner came out of nowhere, and I couldn't believe that. I mean, I got two of them on the same night, and it was delivered in 7 days. Absolutely unheard of. It's basically like China was taking this secret coin, creating an ASIC, sending it out, and then went on Chinese New Year. It was incredible. So well done, but I think there's something there that people need to be investing in. It's very low, cheap to get in right now. You'll double your money for sure in the next couple of years on that one. Another good one for privacy would be Monero. I would love to I'm invested in Monero, but I would do even more. Burstcoin still.
Really?
Yeah, there's still a little hope there. Because it's on the same as the storage coin. So it's the technology that I'm interested in.
And it's a hard drive mine, right?
Correct.
I see your point.
Right. So, and then as far as the crazy ones, which are actually, like, I would say probably hard to acquire. And by what I mean by that is your actual investment in these requires some not so strong exchanges to be purchasing these on. More like your Mt. Gox of the world.
Oh, the not so reputable exchanges.
There you
I
go.
see.
Thank you. Would be something like your Electronium or your Verge coin. So those are not your typical buy them on the open market necessarily. And I heard about another one coming up, a Tron coin. I actually haven't done a whole lot of research on it.
You actually heard it? It's a very silent coin. I hear that the founder is very quiet, keeps everything hush hush. So yeah, there's I do have a lot of people feeding me information, so I do get to cheat a little bit, but so those are probably, I don't know, was that 10? Did you count? But we're just going to keep letting you list them, man, because I'm just having fun talking about altcoins at this point. But yeah, I mean, to bring up the point, though, about those not so reputable exchanges, I have learned, and I am not an investor of any sort, really, I'm an enthusiast, but I have learned that if you do see a coin that is only listed on one or two, maybe not so reputable exchanges, that actually might be the early entry for you to take advantage as an early investor, because before they get added to other exchanges, the volume isn't there. So, you know, they may pump once they get listed, but at least you could have a sell order for, you know, a couple Satoshis over what you paid. So, I mean, when it comes to those non-reputable exchanges, like, that is something I think of. It's only listed on these two exchanges. The volume isn't really there. If it were to get listed on Binance or Poloniex or whatever, it could get more volume. So that's just one of my, like, give and takes when it comes to the not so reputable ones. There is sort of a risk reward, but it's got to be money you're 100% willing to live without it in case that does go the route of Mt. Gox. Absolutely, and I completely agree with everything. I mean, I was a guy that
I was showing my wife, I was like, watch this. I had so many of this altcoin, I don't want to name it. But one night I actually crashed the market on it because I was like, I want out. So I just kept selling it. You sell it and then you keep lowering your price and you just sell all the way down. And within an hour, the price is like worthless. But it's people like that that either had a lot, mined a lot, or invested a lot in the beginning and try to crash the market on those other exchanges is what Ken's saying, that the volume is not there to be able to handle the typical average investor. However, you are correct. If you invest in those other exchanges and they do not crash and steal your money, when they hit the other mainstream, you will do very good. Absolutely. I completely agree.
Thank you. Why don't we let the viewers know where they could find you, more information, and if they wanted to do business with you in the mining side, where they can get access.
Absolutely. You can find me on YouTube under Digital Gold. We do some crazy stuff. It's not all orthodox, but it is amazing. The website is digi.io, D-I-G-I-E.io. And what I do is I host rigs for people, 4, 6, and 8 card rigs. They're your rigs 100%. You keep 100% of the coins. All I do is charge you $1 a day per graphics card to pay my expenses. And it's a great community. And I'm going to announce an exciting thing, Ken. No one publicly knows this. But today we put our deposit down on a over 5,000 square foot warehouse for our first huge move into the crypto space. We went from, a little downstairs under the house type mine to a big garage in the last few months to now the volume is just huge. So many people are loving the mining. And I just created a way for people to mine on their own from their iPad or their phone or their laptop, just sitting at home, never having to worry about heat, electric, or the frustration of redoing your miner or programming it. I do all of that for you. So absolutely. Check me out. It's great. If not, just come and hang out on YouTube with the community.
All right, guys, check him out on Digital Gold. Thank you, Jared, for joining me on pureblockchainwealth.com, where we talk about putting your wealth on the blockchain. Have a day.